want to raise myself. I want to raise my people. And let me tell you something.
You want to raise what?
Right? I talk to all you Tories in here. Every single one of you. I work hard, and I'm a working class man. Right? And let me tell you something, right? These are the hands, these, my friend, the hands that make the things that you enjoy.
Don't put your hands in someone's face.
These hands are grabbing for your throat very soon because we are winning, you are losing. These are the hands, bro. These are the
typical leftist violence.
Hello everyone, I have a video from Charlie where he faces a confrontation from a particular student. The way it plays out and concludes is surprising. I'll give you my thoughts along the way. Let's watch it together.
You all believe in limited government. I believe in limited government. I'm an anarchist. I believe in really limited government, right? But you touched on...
socialist and an anarchist.
No.
You can't be both.
Let me finish, okay? So you said, you guys were touching on something a little bit earlier. You said, there is no conservative Antifa. Conservatives don't protest.
I said that.
Yeah, do you know why? I'll tell you why. There's no conservative Antifa. Conservatives, as a rule, don't protest because money talks. And you don't want limited government. You want limited government for yourselves. You don't want limited government for the working people. I'll tell you why. Because let me finish. Right? The reason there is no conservative Antifa, the reason that conservatives don't protest is because you don't need to. You hold the levers of power anyway. You own the police, you own the army, you own the media. Right? You don't need to protest. You get other people to do it for you.
Wait, okay, so...
As a class, as a collective, conservatism and the right wing rules the media. It rules the police.
Whoa, stop. I know, this is a little... There's so many... No, you've made a few, though. You've made a few here.
We talk about free speech. I'll be 2 more minutes. So you talk about limited...
No. First off, saying we rule the media, have you read a single article about Turning Point UK? Have you read a single article about Turning Point UK? Because by that standards, you're ruling the media. If you've looked at anything that's been said about us before we got here, you're ruling the media. Secondly, this idea of trying to, I'm tired of this like lazy intellectual argument of like conservatives are all rich white people, because that's what you're doing here when you say like you guys are the ruling elites. No, people, you're correct that we have jobs and we can't show up at 8 a.m. in the morning. No. I know. I'm gonna come back to you. You're correct that we have jobs and we can't show up. You've heard me. I came from absolutely nothing, so I'm not gonna let you do this little like ooh woe is me workers part. That's my entire life. Okay, I'm a conservative because I believe in hard work, and I think it's lazy to stand outside and hold a sign. I think it's lazy, okay? So if that's your excuse, you're not gonna get away with this with me, okay? You're not gonna paint conservatives as rich people that are in power and in control. You're talking to the wrong girl, okay? So come with an intellectual argument about why it is that conservatives don't riot and protest and incite violence in the middle of the street, because the answer is not because they're rich and controlling the media.
It's because we're better people.
The world may reject truth, but we must remain steadfast in our commitment to it. Telling the truth is not an act of hatred, but it's an act of courage and faith, ladies and gentlemen. We speak truth in love, not to harm, but to bring understanding, healing, and light to the darkness. Yes, we do. Even in the face of opposition, we can trust that God is with us, and He will give us the strength to stand firm. Why these people just want to be listened to, but are not willing to listen? In reality, they are not asking for acceptance. No, they are not. They are demanding and forcing their sexuality on others as the primary focus. But under the guise of having superior, higher moral standards, they're expecting the government to impose laws to enforce their views. You see? And usually acceptance by society requires a level of assimilation to the accepted norms, not pointing out your differences, criticizing others who disagree with you, then expecting to be embraced by them. It doesn't make sense.
It's your ideology.
Because we have decency and standards.
We have jobs.
I'd like an opportunity to come back on this, if possible. I thought Candice raised some very good points, and I'd like the opportunity to come back on those points. So firstly, right, when I talk about conservatives, I'm not stereotyping them as rich white people. I'm talking about them as people that subscribe to an ideology. And that ideology is the ideology of the corporation and the rule of the corporations, and the rule of the corporations and the rich over the poor. Whether you are rich or whether you are poor, you support that ideology.
You're just wrong.
Now, let me just say one more thing about you talking about how you came from nothing. Well, I congratulate you on that.
Thanks.
But there's a lot of people out there that didn't. This society leaves behind a lot of losers. I congratulate you for being a winner, but how many heads did you step on to get there?
The point that I'm making is anybody can make something themselves in a free market society. That is why I am a conservative. It's not because I'm rich. It's not because I come from money. And what you're using right now is bad stereotypes to come up with you're using bad stereotypes to come up with an unsound argument. Imagine if you spent.
I want to raise my class. I want to raise my people. I don't want to raise myself. I want to raise my people. And let me tell you something.
You want to raise what?
I talk to all you Tories in here. Every single one of you. I work hard, and I'm a working class man. Right? Let me tell you something, right? These are the hands, my friend, the hands that make the things that you enjoy.
Don't put your hands in someone's face.
These hands are grabbing for your throat very soon because we are winning, you are losing. These are the hands,
Typical leftist violence.
Take from you.
Typical leftist violence. No, but this is what we're saying.
These are the hands that will take from you that which you stole from us as a class. I raised my class, not myself. And
I come from less than you. You're not noble. You're not giving some speech that's going to be remembered for the next 10 years, okay? You sound pathetic and like you need to get a job. I don't know, it's like the weirdest thing that you're doing right now. What do you think you are, like Martin Luther King, and we're all going to look back and go, oh my God, thank God for that speech. These hands are going to come. You sound violent, you sound unhinged, and you sound like you're disproportionately angry at conservatives because we don't riot and incite violence in the middle of the street. You sound ridiculous. You just said you're going to put your hands around his throat. What sort of example are you leading for the people in your community?
Put your hands on my throat.
What are you doing? Because the truth is, let me tell you what leftists are. You're envious of people that work harder than you. That's all you're doing right now. You're being envious, and socialism is the creed of envy and greed.
That's the problem with a lot of kids nowadays. They tend to form their opinions based on far-left media and liberal ideology without fully considering a wide range of perspectives or even critically analyzing the information they are exposed to. It's alarming how many young people today are heavily influenced by media outlets. It's very shocking, ladies and gentlemen. Social media platforms and ideologies that often promote a one-sided narrative. How sad is that? Rather than encouraging independent thought, these sources frequently present a narrow, filtered version of reality. And ultimately, many kids are observing these messages without questioning their accuracy or even motives.
My question is, if you're a woman trying to pursue your sport, how are we supposed to, fight men trying to transition over and taking the records and scholarships from women?
Thank you for asking this question. So this is where it's been interesting because I'm in a business where the Lord has blessed me, where I could say whatever I want, whatever I want to say it, and I've been doing that for a while. And then I kind of have this meeting of people that are so good, and they see something so wrong, and they're so afraid to say what they see as wrong. And this is like one of the most, this like number one issue, right? Where I get these beautiful emails from mothers who are just so agreeable, and they're just great people, right? And they're so intimidated by the alphabet mafia, right? The LGBTQ whatever, right? That they wouldn't dare say anything against it, right? And so, yeah, I say this, first let me just say this, everyone needs Jesus Christ. It's the most important thing, everyone, including the man who's competing in women's sports at University of Pennsylvania and destroying women's swimming. I want him to come back into communion with Christ. It's very important. Before this entire kind of trans movement, there used to be a psychological condition called gender dysphoria, where this would be diagnosed as. It's a very serious thing, where someone thinks they are a separate gender than what they are. There are treatment options, non-medical by the way, of getting to root causes. Maybe you were really poorly treated by your current gender when you were a kid. Maybe you have father issues and you're a boy. There's a lot of different things that could play into it. But therapy and treatment needs to be something that we talk about with that. Okay, but if we're not also simultaneously willing to say that men that compete in women's sports are nothing short of cheaters, then we are kidding ourselves. That women's sports should not be an open-air athletic therapy place for people that have serious mental problems, because you deserve better than that. We believe there are differences between men and women. I grew up in a country where feminists used to scream in my face about that, about how men and women are so different that we need special laws designed for women. Okay, I was against that then and against that now, but I understood the argument that at least there were biological differences between men and women. Now it's like, no, there's no difference. Men can give birth. You get fired from Google for saying that. It's true, you get fired. In most colleges, if you say that only women can give birth, you'll get kicked out of school. I'm not kidding. Most colleges. I could have a whole speech on how bad colleges are, right? But when parents hear that, like, what? It's true. The Biden administration, when they came out with their guidelines, what did they say? Birthing people. It's true. When they proposed income aid for people that have given birth, moms, they refused to put mothers in the official White House document. They said birthing people.
In a society without religion, everything would become acceptable to those who choose to live by their own standards, without the checks and balances provided by religious teachings that emphasize love, respect, compassion, and accountability. The understanding of right and wrong would no longer be anchored in universal principles. Just think about it. Or of the belief of a higher power or a moral giver, lawgiver. Just think about it. Instead, it would be entirely subjective, with each individual deciding what actions are justified or ethical based on their own personal feelings or desires. Can you imagine that? I know to some people, they may view this as a freedom of expression, but it would lead to moral chaos. It would lead to moral chaos, as different people could easily justify harmful behavior simply because it aligns with their own self-interest or perceived worldview. Those are the dangers.
It's bad. And it's bad because of something you might not expect. And this is where I can play a role, and I'm happy that you guys can all rest on my shoulders. My only advice is just speak out a little bit. We're way too agreeable as a country, everybody. This is nonsense, it's garbage, and we are afraid of losing friends or social status or whatever, and they are bulldozing decency and our girls' future in sports. It's just the way it is. And again, happy to bear the brunt of a lot. You're transphobic. Yeah, actually, I'm kind of afraid of women's sports being abolished. Like, thanks for mentioning that. I kind of am. I think it's awful. I think it's terrible. And it's unfair to all of our female competitors that work so hard. And there's so many other issues of that. So your specific question is, what can you do? Not a lot without losing a lot. I'm going to be very honest with you. They will condemn you. They will ostracize you. They'll say you have no compassion. You have none of this stuff. This is a fight for your parents to start to pound the table, to be perfectly honest, right? I'm starting to see more and more parents do this. You guys are all doing a wonderful job. You wouldn't be here tonight on Friday night if you guys didn't get it. But we really have to start to see parents say this is not going to happen, right? There's no place at all whatsoever. We can have a heart for these people. We can get them into treatment, get them to therapy, but you're not going to abolish the competitive future. And just to fill up in the gaps for everybody here, women's swimming is done. Women's swimming is no more. Every record that was once held in collegiate women's swimming has been broken by a man by 30 to 45 seconds. It's done, over, gone. So if you're a woman that's a swimmer and you want to be in college, it's gone, it's done. You'll never compete at the equal footing ever again. And so this is the final point, is it really comes down to this question of justice, right? Those of you that are classically educated probably read a lot about justice, because that's in the human soul, is a yearning for justice, right? How do we know that? Without ever having to tell them, a 2-year-old that has a toy taken away from them says that's not fair. It's true. They know in their soul that that toy should not just be taken away without an explanation. Within the upbringing of a child is a yearning for things to be fair. Just. Justice is a debt. That's the best way you can explain justice to a kid. Justice is a debt that is owed. meaning you did something wrong, something must happen. This is massively unjust. It is, on every single level. So I don't mean to kind of do a detour on that, but this really is the regime of political correctness. It is. People that know something that's wrong, that do not want to say anything because of the penalty that might exist. The country will become a lot more free the moment that good people stop caring what they can lose for doing what's right. All right, thank you.
Imagine an America without religion, a country where the guiding principles of faith, which have shaped much of its moral and ethical framework, no longer hold sway. Just imagine. In such a society, every individual operates based on their own personal moral code, and the very foundation that has long helped to define right from wrong is fragmented into countless subjective viewpoints. Ladies and gentlemen, when we throw away God, everything turns into chaos. When we try to replace God with science or with whatever, everything turns into chaos. To conclude, sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ is profoundly positive endeavor that changes lives, ladies and gentlemen. It promotes love, justice, hope, truth, and aligns with God's will. It provides eternal meaning and deep joy to those who receive it. Ultimately, it stands as the greatest gift to humanity, creating lasting impact in the lives of individuals and entire communities, and reflecting God's heart in everything it touches. So, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to click on the next one, and don't forget to like, to comment, and to subscribe. I will see you again next time. Bye for now.